body was found inside a car at a Hollywood tow lot today.
Los Angeles investigators identifying the remains as 15-year-old Celeste Rivas.
But now they're trying to figure out how she ended up dead in his Tesla.
What is going on with y'all, man? It is Black Balloon, and I'm coming back with another video, man, so y'all already know what's going on. All right, y'all. Now, I got a couple clips that I want to show y'all, and we're back on the David topic. It's been crazy. I mean, you could get on TikTok, you can get on YouTube, and I don't think I've ever seen this many people go in about an artist that most of us never knew about. I mean, maybe the younger generation, you know, knew about him, TikTok and so on, right? But man, I'm seeing damn near new stuff every single day. Like literally the internet has already solved the case. I mean, I think I've already said it. If somehow, some way this goes back to not being him who actually unalived her, you know, we will already know what it is as far as this being an industry sacrifice. Now, I almost feel that way because as you can tell by the title of this video, I wanted to relate it back to XXXTentacion and Jocelyn Flores, right? Now, when I first dropped the video on this David and Celeste situation, I saw a good bit of y'all saying, yeah, this reminds me of Jocelyn Flores and XXX. Now, I was like, you right, because I was talking about how a lot of these artists foreshadow, you know, these type of things in their music. Have brought up YNW Melly, and there's been a bunch of other artists as well. But in particular with David and XXX is very eerie, right? What really got me to want to do this video, which I'll show y'all this clip in a second, I came across this clip on TikTok. It was of a guy who scrolled all the way down David's YouTube page. And it was like the first song that he dropped back in 2021. And it was already foreshadowing what was going to happen in the future. And I was like, okay, cool. That instantly made me want to just do a video and kind of go back over the whole Jocelyn Flores thing because it was very similar. Now, David's like whole career is foreshadowing, basically. You know, his whole career, all of his songs is damn near like a crime scene. And XXX, it was almost the same way, but just slightly different path. I mean, because Jocelyn Flores is one of his biggest songs, one of his most streamed hits. And it just happened to be about a girl who supposedly unalived herself in a hotel after meeting with X and getting kicked out of X's house because supposedly her and her friend stole $7,000 from them. We'll talk about more of that, but I want to show y'all some of the clips from this whole David situation again, and then we'll kind of flip the switch and talk a little bit more about the whole thing with X and how, you know, I believe he actually sacrificed Jocelyn Flores, and it'll make a lot more sense once we go further into the video. So with that being said, y'all, check this out.
Go on David YouTube channel and you scroll way at the bottom. You see a song that's called Runaway. You know, the mom came out saying that her daughter ran away when she reported her as missing. What is going on? If David is actually tied to this girl Celeste, like no joke, he's for real successful because of her. I don't know if this on some I don't even want to say it, but it's like, what's going on? This is weird. Way in 2021, run away. Does what? And of course, the picture is a girl running away. The reason why I say she's the reason why he's successful is because I don't know if they tied together. If they tied together, no innocent until proven guilty. It's like he wanted to put himself in his dark hole and mess with his head just so he can make the best type of music. Because he got the voice, He can actually really sing. He can actually really come together and make a real good song. And it's almost like he needed to feel the love for real, or feel the pain for real. What I'm about to say is about to be a little bit dark conspiracy theory, but it's almost like if they tied together and he really didn't love her, he did this to make the best type of music. All of it. He got like 5 songs on her birthday. He did a mini album on her birthday. And of course, y'all seen all of the other coincidences. It's just crazy. And that's why I say, if he's innocent, this is the biggest coincidental we ever seen in our life.
It's a real conversation that happened. And the irony of it was that person that was saying, I love you, she's not in my life anymore. So it's like, people say that the string can't be cut and the connection cannot be severed, but I feel like it can sometimes. I really wanted the listeners to feel like they're reading a book almost, and they get into a different chapter with every song, but there's also that kind of pause where they can take every song in by itself and then have this kind of visual landscape in this interlude to kind of be in my head, in my mindset, and why I wrote the project like this and how everything went, just to like keep them even more interested and connected throughout the project for sure.
Now, what the guy said in the beginning was very true, and it almost reminds you of method acting in the film industry. You have to have some kind of real life experience to make that kind of music. And it goes back to the saying on how people don't realize music. Some people's music can really pierce the veil, and it helps a lot by when what you are writing about or what you are performing is something that you've already done or something that will happen. Like he said, he felt like David, did it on purpose or was going into this dark place so he can be able to make that kind of music. You have to do that. It's just like with acting. You have to do that. They say, what do they say? The best actors, they're not acting. It's actually a spirit that has really, it's really doing it. And it's the same way with music. A lot of these artists' music can really pierce the veil. And I think this relates a lot back to XXX because his music did the same thing. And, he was helped by these demonic spirits as well. You got to remember, I'm tying it back to XXX because X got out of jail and he got out of jail as a star because the Look At Me song was starting to go viral. And when he got out of jail in 2017, shortly after, he met up with the girl Jocelyn Flores. The girl Jocelyn Flores, they basically kind of had a little relationship going on. X was 19 at the time and she was actually 16, even though she looks older. Clearly, X had stuff going on. He had already did that ritual. Remember the phone call that was leaked of him saying he wanted to get the ritual to the goddess Hecate. He had to pray to her and summon her in order for him to get out of jail. That's what he wanted. That's what he was doing. That phone call really exists. They worship the Baphomet. And I believe a part of that deal was he had to sacrifice someone because shortly after that little jail stint and those phone calls in jail to his friend to get the ritual, remember his friend was telling him the ritual on how to summon the goddess Hecate. And so the girl ends up going back to a hotel with one of his friends, like a part of his entourage. Supposedly the friend left the hotel for dinner. And when he comes back, he says the light in the bathroom was on and he thought she was just sitting there using it or taking a shower. He says he goes to sleep and the next morning, the light in the bathroom is still locked. So when they go and get someone from the hotel, they go in there and they find her dead. 3 months later, XXX releases the album 17 with the hit song Jocelyn Flores on it, dedicating it to her. She would have turned 17 in June, right before the album would have came out. She unalived herself supposedly in May. 3 months later, he releases the album 17. She unalived herself 3 months before, 1 month before she would have turned 17. We know that number 17, you know, he had it tattooed on him. I just saw Ray J on the stream with Kai Cenat, and he had on a chain with the number 17 on it, which we're going to talk about that stream in the next video. But very, very eerie, right? Coincidences don't exist. I believe XXX sacrificed her for that deal he made. And then ultimately, a year later, he's sacrificed. Now we already know. I've talked about that rabbit hole plenty times on this channel, but no blood, you know, we don't even know what happened to X. We just know he gone a year later at 20 years old. I wanted to, you know, kind of like relate it back to this because the guy said David wouldn't be who he is without the girl. And in a sense, it's the same for X, because had he not made that sacrifice, you know, the music wouldn't have hit as hard as it did. It's like, yeah, he was on SoundCloud before the Jocelyn Flores thing, you know, coming up, dropped a lot of music. But if you go listen to that Jocelyn Flores song, it sounds very eerie, like, and you could tell the pain and the raw emotion he put into that song was because that was the first person he sacrificed. He gave her up. Now, if you look into the story, they say the girl was already mentally disturbed and that she previously in her life tried to unalive herself before even meeting X. They met through Twitter. So you could take it, you know, however you want, but they don't even know what her last day was like. The family doesn't know. It's very shrouded in mystery on how it actually happened. Mind you, it was at a hotel, the Hampton Inn. And I really believe he sacrificed her. And the crazy thing about that clip where David was talking in the interview, I mean, this one is one of the most craziest ones for real, because it's almost like everything David said relates back to Celeste. He was talking about his music and the songs and stuff being cut and severed and this relationship that he was painting a picture of. You know, you can cut and sever it. Well, guess what? The young girl's body in the car was cut and severed, y'all. They said they only found the head and the torso. If you want to hear it again, check this out.
Disturbing new details in a Hollywood murder case. Police have raided the home of R&B star David after the dismembered remains of a missing 15-year-old girl were found in the trunk of his abandoned Tesla. The victim was identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who went missing from Lake Elsinore back in April 2024. On September 8th, her remains, a head and torso inside a bag, were discovered inside David's Tesla at a Hollywood tow yard.
Now that, you know, when you think about it, it's very sick, y'all. And his most popular song, which people are really dissecting, and you could probably make a case that it's, you know, a pretty good song if you didn't actually know what it was about or if none of this stuff ever happened, which was Romantic Homicide. It is now up over 3 million streams worldwide. US Spotify charts up to like number 13 with almost 1 million streams just in the last, I don't know, day or two. Global Spotify charts, almost 2 million views, up like 100 spots or something like that. So, you know, he's up like 70% as far as his total views on his music. And if anyone didn't know who he was before this, he is very well known now. And this case, like I said earlier in the video, very disturbing. I've never seen this many YouTube sleuths investigators, myself, you know, everybody is on this case. Like, if this was his sacrifice and it was to further his career, oh man, they achieved outstandingly. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You know, I just thought I would jump on here and do the video because I wanted to talk about the X and Jocelyn thing, just because it, you know, it was kind of similar. I thought it was worth doing a video on, and also showing some of the new clips that people are finding about the David and Celeste situation. Now I think there's people talking about that he was actually dating a older Celeste as well recently. And I can show y'all that clip at the end of this video to go ahead and wrap it up. But there's so much going on, man. This one has been mind-blowing. Definitely will be doing another video whenever we get an official update, you know, or autopsy or anything that is going to come out. We definitely will be back on this topic. All right, y'all. So with that being said, man, it's Black Balloon. And I'm going to see y'all soon, all right? I'm out.
Oh yeah, so David is cooked. In the new video that people are asking, is it Celeste? Look at what's on her feet. Them Hello Kitty Crocs. The same exact Crocs. Stay with me now. She went missing March with Hello Kitty sandals. Video was taken June 27, 2024. Around the time she went missing. The nose matches, the face matches. So regardless of the new Celeste that is popping up on videos that he was hanging out with in 2025, the 13-year-old that went missing was around, bruh, 2024. Or at least around his people, allegedly. No disrespect, but Netflix is about to have the biggest field day we ever seen, bro. Because when all of this, like, comes to end, it's either gonna be one or two things. The biggest conspiracy we've ever seen in our entire lives, or the most psychotic cover-up a motherfucker ever seen in their entire life.